everybody. Welcome back to the One by One podcast. I'm your host, Obi Megano. Today, I'm joined with a good friend, relationship engineer, head coach, a guy that I met through Team Nigeria, Torino Johnson. What's going on, man?
Hey man, I'm borderline sensational. So
Borderline sensational. I
yes,
like that,
brother.
man. What's going
Yes.
on, man? Who are you? Who is Torino? Where are you? First off, where are you at right now?
I'm in my office. So I'm at Cal State University, Los Angeles. We just wrapped up practice. We begin at 6 a.m. and we
Ooh,
wrapped up at 8:30, 8:45, something like that. I can't remember. Whatever we were doing at the end. And so, 6 a.m. is the time we start, not the time we get up.
Cal State University?
Yes, sir.
That's the division,
We're Division Two. We're
the
Division Two.
D2. D2. How
Yeah.
long have you been there?
This is my seventh year as a head coach and ninth overall, I believe. I started off under Cheryl Miller. I was her assistant coach for 2 years, and then she went back into TV and entertainment. And the opportunity was presented to me, and I've took it and ran.
What's it? So, real quick, for the people who are just tapping in, man, how did we meet? How did we meet? Let's start there.
We met through Nigerian Men's National Team basketball.
Yeah, man. What were
Right?
you doing there? How did
I
you?
was I was an assistant coach under Mike Brown, and you know, one day I decided to go down to the Warriors training camp, and I have a relationship with Steve Kerr because before or prior to my coaching at Cal State LA, I was a head girls basketball coach at Palisades Charter High School, and that's the school he attended. And so, wildly successful there, won championships, maybe like 4 or 5. And he would always get newspaper clippings about our team. And so we would sit down and spend a little time together because his mom still lived in the Palisades. And so I got a meeting request from him to join them at training camp with the Warriors. And it just so happened to be Mike Brown had joined the Golden State Warriors at the time. Mike Brown and I hit it off where we was just kind of casually talking about ball and life and the mental aspect of the game. And so, my approach is a lot more holistic. So you can catch me in practice burning sage. I got Meta World Peace on my coaching staff, so it was one of those things. And so Meta and Mike Brown had some run-ins before, and so he was intrigued by how the relationship was developing between myself and Meta. And so I stayed behind at his request, and we sat down. We met at like Pete's Coffee or something, and we just chopped it up. And I gave him some books, which is a tactic of my dearly departed mentor George H. Raveling, and he was caught off guard by the books, but he pulled up to the meeting on a bike, and so he looked at me. He was like, "Bro, where am I supposed to put them books?" And it was my first like real glimpse into him as a person, because on TV, for me, being an LA native, a South Central LA kid, and him being the head coach once upon a time of my favorite team, coaching my favorite player in Kobe Bryant, I thought maybe he was a little bit corny. And so sitting in front of me, he was every bit of a man's man. He was communicating effectively, and I had taken or mistaken those memes of Kobe looking at him sideways as something that it wasn't. And so I was pleasantly surprised by the conversation and the intellectual curiosity I felt Mike Brown had. And so we developed a friendship after that. And we just kept talking. And then we got hit with the pandemic. And I get a call from that brother because we were doing Zooms. And I was Bogart my way into these NBA Zooms. So I was like, I just want the information. I don't want a job. Like, great. I just, if I can get as much information as possible, it'll help me just be where I'm at. One I believe in, one foot in the present and one in the future. And so I kept talking to him about that. And he was like, man, I remember it like it was yesterday. He was like, hey, well, I got a future opportunity for you because I just been named the head men's coach for the Nigerian men's national team. And I need you to join me. And so I thought I didn't know what to think, but I know I was caught off guard um, because our season had just been canceled. So I was available and everything was lining up correctly. And I took on that opportunity, man. And boom, I got a chance to meet you, man, and meet some incredible brothers, man, some bad brothers
Man,
that could ball.
so what I want to know is they've heard my experience. They've heard all my experiences. All my athletes have been on here. The guys from, you know what I'm saying, that's been to the Olympics with me. But we haven't heard from a coach's perspective, man. No, I mean really, you know, from you've always we've always hit it off. You've been my
Yeah,
guy, man, but I haven't really heard from your perspective.
yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
It was
And I mean, walk us through like, so you got Mike Brown hit you,
yeah,
and he asked you to come be part of the, you know what I'm saying, the team.
right.
You
So
get to training camp. What was that like? What was that whole experience like for you?
I mean, it turned my world upside down. You know, you go from working with young women and moonlighting at time with men regarding basketball skill development, but not a team, right? And so now I'm confronted with do I have the vernacular? Do I have the patience and the urgency that's needed regarding the level of degree of difficulty? Right. This isn't just I get to coach the Drew League or some university. This is a country is on our back. We're on a whole continent, and so growing up being a black American and an African American and identifying with Africa, it was humbling because never in my wildest dreams could I have thought that I would be touching uh, that part of the world as a coach, right? And so the immense level of pride that not only was shared from myself and my wife, but my mom, who's since passed. Um, just seeing her so excited about this opportunity, man, it brought me to tears. And so I knew I was going to do a great job because I was so invested in learning about the people I was going to be working with. I didn't come into it like this is what I know and this is what we do. I wanted to know what helps Obi the best. Like who is Obi? Like if I can connect on a human aspect, then I can take some of that product manager labeling out of the basketball piece, and we can just be human. You can see the human in my eyes, and then you're gonna already do well at basketball. This is bigger than a basketball assignment, right? Like this for me was soulful and cultural in a way that it impacts people in my lineage that I'll never meet. And so this is the thing of folklore, but this real. This is what you write about. This is when things are murky, this is what you dreamt of, right? And so being there, it was like a master class in humanity and being able to see young men simplify complex teachings. Like Mufan was coming off of the notes, and you guys were just like, "We got it," right? Like we've got a rotation, and MB has sent an email breaking down the playing time, and you guys each time are like, "We got it," and and so I'm so used to a player needing to be held step by step. The way you guys were able to like come together, but already be there. Like being there before you get there, it was like, oh, these some bad brothers,
Man.
right? And so I got a chance to see that unfold. And I tell you, man, the knowledge that everyone in that room possessed was vital. It made me want to develop relationships, stronger relationships with players. I went, it's a key aspect of coaching, and I think a lot of coaches skip that because they may have gotten an opportunity like the one I've had, but I was able to look at it like a true learning strategic maneuver. It was deeper. It was soul stirring. So I was humbled being in that room, man. I got so much out of it. Like I said, I could doggone write a book.
Man, that's so powerful for me, man, because being where I'm in it. You know what I mean? And even now looking back on those times, I think about my experience, but you're a guy that I came in a close connection with just from being there, and we've built a relationship over how many years have we been on the phone for however long, and I've
Yeah.
only I only we've only met each other at that with the national team. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So like the relationships that were built, the memories that were built through all of that, that's what we're talking about, man. I can never forget those times.
Yeah. It's like a family reunion. Like I literally felt like I had already knew you.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, yo, bro, I thought that this was gonna be a tough conversion. I thought like, all right, man, I'm about to clash with some people just because.
Yeah.
Right? Like not because of my doing, not because of your doing, just because of the nomenclature of sports says confrontation right now. And there was no void of confrontation. It was just positive confrontations.
Yeah.
And so I thought, man, everything was done out of love and everybody was pushing for the same agenda. It was nothing hidden. It was so beautiful, man. So I'm so appreciative of folks like yourself being so dang on coachable.
Man, there was really no friction. And
None.
now that I think about it, you said it's like a brotherhood. It's like we've known each other. Though even the guys, even the friends, my teammates, right, that were on the
Yeah.
team. I mean, those guys, we come into connection every once in a while through hoop. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like, but since then we have built these relationships over
Hmm.
time that
Yeah.
it's just such a strong bond just from our brotherhood, from being wearing the colors and representing our country. And
Yes.
that was incredible, man. And we talk about memories. What is a memory that stuck out to you, that sticks out to you right now about those 4 weeks or 6 weeks that we spent? How long was it that we
Man,
spent together?
it felt like that was 6 weeks. Because of all of the training camp and then traveling and going to uh, I think we flew into France and then flying into Tunisia or wherever and driving. Dude, it was all a blur for me.
Yeah.
But I think, man, what was the question again?
What was a memory that sticks out for you, man?
a memory, a memory that sticks out to me. Well, there's a few, but one is we were going into the arena and I saw men with machine guns, and I tell you that startled the hell out of me. I I I was terrified. I poked my chest out, but boy, I was terrified entering that arena
That's funny.
In Tunis. I was like, yo, wait a minute, what did I sign up for? Um, I that I think the bus rides where folks were talking about um, Musa having to pay them their money and and listening to the songs and the chants and sitting with my man Tate Carter as just different characters gave off different stories and I just continue to laugh about those. And us in the huddle, Mufan is appreciative, and Coach Major is crying, and I can see him in that huddle crying, and then I know I was laughing because I was like, man, he's as emotional as I've been this entire trip, and so that was a sweet moment for me.
Was that your first time coaching men?
It No, it wasn't my first time coaching men. I'd coached men before, but I'd never coached men on that particular scale.
Right.
And so I'd be ashamed to even mention the scale which I've coached men. And so I just want to be, being forthright. Let's strike that no from the record and go with a yes.
Yeah. Well, no, and I asked that because I what is some of the differences that you see from coaching men and women? Because I know I've coached both as well. What are some of the differences that you see?
I think when you're coaching women, there seems to be a desperation of ownership, if you will. Whereas when you're coaching men, it's like, I'll get to it, right? It's like, the women understand that there's life after basketball. The men struggle with that aspect because everyone seems to be chasing the NBA goal. And so with that being the goal, they're chasing capitalism and they're chasing the money. They aren't necessarily looking at it from a purity standpoint of just improvement stamina. They don't want to get better because it's intrinsic. They seem to want the money more than they want to get better.
Okay.
And so when I'm watching the young women seem to have like an ownership of 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 that of that desperation that comes along with developing.
Yeah.
Right, they're trying to focus on being an engineer and getting into an internship, whereas the men are trying to forego those internships and go play some ball and get paid. So I think that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, to me.
From a development standpoint, because I work with some high level high school athletes that want to go to college,
Mm-hmm.
right? Speak to those girls, to those women, the high school women. What are from a coaching perspective? What are you looking for? When you're recruiting?
I'm looking for fundamentals, and then I'm looking for. Um, I think there's like an invisible part of that. Can I make this person better? Like when I'm watching, I'm going, I know what I see, but it has to be deeper than sight. It has to be vision. What can this person become? Do they have a motor? Are they pushing themselves? Do they get down on themselves? Do I see self doubt visible, or are they indulged in the aspect of becoming a great teammate? Right? I might be on the bench. Do I high five people? Am I cheering for people on the floor? I look for all of those things because I feel those are characteristics of winners, right? And I don't want to be one of those coaches complaining about a player not doing what I want them to do because I think it's a coach's problem. I think um, coaches are the problem. I think we recruit our problems. And so I try to avoid bad character people.
Mm-hmm.
I try to look for, again, young people who are just working in spite of their conditions. You could be on the worst team. Do you show up and work? And when I go to your practice, are you still working? Right? And I would be lying if I didn't talk about talent. I think fundamentals is a talent, right? Do you know when to shoot? Do you know what shot's yours? Um, do you can you run and talk? Right? Like those things become
Really?
important where if you're putting a roster of 15 together and you've got 15 scholarships, I might be wise enough to spend one of those scholarships every 4 years on a leader. You can identify a leader that comes in and won't be a locker room lawyer. So I'm always searching for one, is this person hard to guard? So I'm gonna recruit some offense out there. I'm gonna see somebody that wants to be great, and then mold them and guide them into a player of the year, right? Like I like hard to guard people. One of my earliest mentors was John Wooden, and when I was coaching in the Palisades, I had the good fortune of having him come by our practice. No, he came by our practice in a game, and I had we had lunch in his Encino condo, and we were talking about ball, and but the conversation really was about life, and so he watched my team perform, and we chatted after that, and he said, what are you trying to do? I was like, well, we're running parts of your high low. He was like, dude. He didn't say dude, but he was like, young man, I had Lou Alcindor.
Mm.
Like, you're throwing the ball down there to a young lady that's like 5'5". Like, you need the space and you need to play, and you got to create the player. And I was like, well, the kid can't shoot. And then he had a moment where he snapped back into Coach Wooden, and he was like, I'll never forget the lines he used. Because I was like, she can't shoot. He said, if she can't shoot, she got to get into another profession. And and I went, okay, shooting's valuable. So I'm always looking for shooters. That's why I loved you, Obi. You can shoot that thing. I said, Obi can shoot that thing. He should be in the league. He can shoot that thing. I don't know what these dudes are looking for. My man can shoot.
Hey man, love for real.
So that has been one of the things that I look for out there where I'm recruiting. I hear that I got an inner voice where I'm like, well, they can't shoot. you if you can't shoot, baby, I'm probably out. Fall in love with your craft.
Listen,
Obsess a
listen,
little
man.
bit over your craft.
I tell, golly, I wish I don't know how else. I wish I could tattoo. I tell kids this all the time. You gotta be able to shoot. And the
Yes,
thing is shooting is just a discipline.
absolutely.
It's just it's between you. You don't need you and a ball in the hoop.
Yes,
But the kids won't spend the time these days. And I say kids, I mean professionals. And that's
yes,
why I was able to have the success as a professional because,
yeah,
listen, if I'm gonna do anything, I know that I'm gonna shoot my shots,
hmm,
and I'm confident in my ability because I have worked on it.
yes,
You know what I mean? And so I
yes,
would take that demeanor into any game. We know we're going to a game. We know we're
yes,
gonna lose. We're supposed to get blown out. Guess what? I'm
mhm,
having 20 though. I'm gonna do my
yeah,
job.
yeah,
And that's the way that I treated it because I
a-
knew that like I was putting in the work. And nobody could take that away from me. And so
and
I tell
that's
kids the most valuable thing you can do aside from playing defense, because if you can shoot and
yeah.
can't play defense, you're not gonna play.
Nope,
Okay,
nope,
so defense trumps anything, but obviously playing defense. Aside from that, being able to make an open shot,
yes,
spread the floor and make an open shot. That is the
yeah,
most valuable thing you can do, and it's the easiest thing to attain because all it takes is time, and you've got plenty of it. Go to the gym.
absolutely, absolutely. I absolutely enjoy when one. This is why you're one of the best teachers in this game when it comes to the neck up, because being able to articulate that requires researching your thoughts, and it requires growth. And so the younger version of you, much like the younger version of me, is in love with the iteration that I am right now because of doing that work, because of being steadfast in the belief that you could teach the game properly. That thing is a separator. And so those kids that you're working with, even the adults, they're fortunate to have you in their ear, giving them that game, that truth. And I think the truth is earned through trust. People typically tell the truth to people they trust. And
Yeah.
so if you've got clients out there, I think you've earned that right to tell them the truth because of all of the work that you put into your game and yourself as a development. You've
Yeah.
done that, and I've seen it, and I've been on this side being able to support it. So I applaud everything that you do, brother, and I appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate that, man. And it's a constant uphill battle. You know why? Because
Yeah,
Everybody got Instagram.
it's a distraction.
And everybody's watching the highlights, and you post
Yes,
only the highlights, and then we've got the kids looking up, and they like, man, I want to do that, I want to do that, and but they don't have the coaches showing them the actual way. They just got people showing them the highlights, showing them
I
getting them dopamine hits. You know what I mean? And it's all in the kind of the same circle, but
sometimes I'm so thrown off by all of that that I don't even realize that whomever I was watching didn't even win the game. I
right,
I I'm like, yo, I thought they won based
right,
on what I saw.
right,
And you go, okay, man, at the end of the day, you need more in a positive way, you need more gatekeepers. You need some because that gatekeeping will be able to tell someone, hey, you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to elbow at eyebrow. You got to hold your follow through.
hmm,
You got to get yourself squared up with the basket, right? And then you've got to have coaches that can respect the player, right? And so I don't think a player can have a bad practice. Only coaches do. So it's all about how you teach and how you get them to transform their thinking and their belief system away from the devices, the distractions,
yeah,
right? How do they eliminate that? And I think if they can fall in love with your teaching, then that's one thing because that's something that I can control. I can make some of this stuff fun, right? I can take the business out of it and I can strip it down to how do we get how do we get better, right? And so I think going after this thing with a plan, when you can showcase the player the plan, then you can give them a personal growth plan. You can give them a strategy for their growth. You can chart it. You can show them the metrics you're using to evaluate their talent. So someone isn't just sitting on your bench because they can shoot but can't play D, right? It's being able to get them to want to play defense, right? No matter how many rebound drills we do, you've got to want that damn ball.
yeah,
And so it's finding out what's their trigger. Sometimes you can't just watch film in your office or on the campus. Sometimes you got to go meet them at a vegan spot and have something to 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 hydrate and stay nutritious on. You got to sit down and make this thing uncomfortable. You
yeah,
got to sit back and go, all right, now tell me why are you the way you are. You got to dig deeper and ask the right questions, and then maybe that player will start to do some things you want him to do. Right? I think you got to think outside the box.
yeah. That's a and I'm glad, man. I'm glad I talked to my people and I made a pact that I was going to start having more coaches on here, man. I'm glad I had, I think you're one of the first ones on here, first coaches, but just that perspective, you know what I mean? Just the perspective, and the mental, like I attack it well, I try to attack it from a player and a coach perspective, but as a coach,
Yeah.
how did you get into the mental side? I noticed from players specifically, it's usually from an injury or some like a difficult time from a team, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where they
Yeah.
had to really start paying attention to the mental performance side of sports. How did you get into it as a coach?
I got into it one by trade. I was a special education resource specialist, so a special education teacher,
Okay.
and I coached basketball at the high school level. And I started in 2004, 2005. That was like my first season, and I was coaching, the false off girls and false off boys. And famously, one of the players is still playing, Garrett Nevels. He's overseas, and he was killing it. I saw it early. And I went, when I'm teaching, I'm so much more patient because of the populace I'm working with. And those are my people. And so when I get in the gym, I'm seeing all of these folks be so ungrateful with the skills and their ambitions. And so they get hijacked, they get overwhelmed. And I was putting into departments that I felt would help them, where I'd say, all right, in your sprint, you can't judge the time based on Obi's time. You've got to focus on your time. So what's your time? So I started to see how they responded to PRing. Like that's yours. That's your personal record. That's what you just did. So don't worry about Obi's. And so the more I was on this deep dive, I started to reach out to people that I felt like Dr. Laura Mitchell Wild. Um, we've got some folks around here, Dr. Raymar Henderson, um, where I search for them. You've got to be intentional about the growth. And so that was the first glimpse into it for me in 2004, 2005, just with seeing how people responded to some of the things, the challenges I brought to them in regards to just focusing on your PR. And it wasn't a layup drill because these people weren't very good at basketball. So it wasn't like, oh man, we're shooting 38% from three. No, we're gonna be lucky if you make a shot. You're not gonna play basketball. This
Yeah.
thing has a very short window in shelf life. I we're gonna get you out of basketball and get you into the thing you should be in.
Yeah.
But you've got to earn the respect by being a truth teller. And so that truth telling made me look at it like, hey, as a coach, I've got to live it, tell it, and take it. Those are the three things that the trust requires of me. And so I've got to deep dive into therapy myself. I've got to go and I've got to speak to it, and people have to see me and understand that I have a therapist. I started talking to my friend at the time, Ron Artest, now Meta World Peace, and we're chatting about how important it is to speak on the mental aspect from just a holistic standpoint. We've got to normalize it not being okay, it being okay for you not to be okay, right? And we've got to normalize you getting help when the perception is you don't need it. Like it's okay to be having a good day and still go see a therapist. It's okay to have friends who are therapists, right? And so you have to be intentional with that. So I started in 0405 to answer the question in its longest form I can. I just was unaware that that's what I was doing. And so I became more aware when I started getting guys like Chris Bosh and Russell Westbrook working out with me in the summer. They would come into the Palisades, and I would I would look at it like, what value can I actually add to these guys? Like they already know how to shoot.
Yeah.
I'm not helping him with his shot. I'm rebounding. So it was bringing people like Laura Mitchell Wild into the gym and having them do breath work, having them do stretch routines, yoga, and different poses, and her really deep diving with me on what she was doing with me. I was capable of doing with them, and I didn't want to overstep my boundaries because they had Chris Bosh came in. He had Miles Simon. He had Ed Downs. Ed Downs was doing some of the performance, the strength and agility work. And he was like, hey, T, he can't do any running and shooting because we already did running. This was the first time I'd heard that. I was like, I run you in every drill I do. So now it was like visualization. It was like, hey, man, visualize yourself making your shots. Um, I remember one time the Clippers had me do some work with a player, and I'm not going to say the player's name, but he was struggling with free throws, and I had him do visualization on the free throws, and that brother went 6 for 10 in visualization. And I told them, I know y'all in trouble. Um, so It's been incorporated.
What value do you add to a guy like Russell Westbrook, Chris Bosh, to those NBA? I mean, when you came to the Nigerian national team, what do you focus on adding? What value do you focus on bringing?
I try to bring a cerebralness, one that has like the fictive kinship, where there's a bridge of trust, where I can step in and kind of deregulate, if you will, when things are going wrong. I don't feel like you need me when things are going well. You need me when things are going wrong, because I'm going to be positive with you, and I'm going to take the blame off you, and I'm going to put that blame on me. You could have made some mistakes. I'm going to say that's my fault. That's on me. I don't believe players can have bad practices. So if you're having a bad game or a perceived bad game, it probably was because I gave you bad information. And I mean that. So, like, as a coach, I'm going to take the credit for losing. I'm going to give the winning to the team. I'm going to take all that pressure off of you and just get you to focus on performing. And so, you're going to do two things out there when it comes to shooting that ball. You're going to make it or miss it. And I need you to be at peace with that shot. So, that teacher aspect in me allows me to be truthful when I'm saying this. I believe this. I'm speaking with conviction. And so I'm not going to falter in that, because I'm going to pull you to the side and keep working with you. So it could be a drill, but I think it's so much more than a basketball thing. It's everybody has already been commodified. Everybody has already been whooped, and I put away the whooping stick. I'm not there to berate you. I'm there to uplift you. So I bring that level of energy. I'm comfortable in my walk with the Lord and my leadership, and so I don't waver from that. I want to hit the grave, and that thing is going to say, "Here lies a dude that had nothing left to give." I'm going to be on empty, man. So anything I approach with my all. And so I was there with you all, coaching like it was a game 7 of the NBA Finals, and it was a dream come true to work with all of y'all. So that's my aspect. It's my perception of life is like, man, this thing is fragile, and I'm gonna bring the cerebralness to it. I'm first team all common sense. If something stands out for being wrong or erroneous, I'm gonna tell you.
First team, all common sense.
Yeah, I don't. This ain't a collective bargaining agreement with some terrorists. This is, hey, bruh, you out of line.
Yeah.
I could still ride with you, so we gonna get in trouble, but I'm letting you know you out of line.
Yeah.
You my guy, so I gotta ride with you, but you still wrong.
Yeah. But we don't have that these days, man.
Cause there's so many people that are in need of being mentees.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And they've skipped steps.
My dad says that all the time.
Well, your dad is a genius.
He says that all the time. He said you can't skip steps. You got to do this at this age. He said, "Oh, that's funny."
Cause that's where you run into all of these entitled cats, and they're know-it-alls. And young dudes like us, man, we're learn-it-alls. Yeah. So it's know-it-alls versus learn-it-alls.
Man, I tweeted that literally yesterday. I tweeted something like, "You can't teach anybody anything these days because everybody knows it all already."
Yeah. So I mean, that phone you held up, that thing is the Library of Congress if you do it right.
Yeah.
But they ain't searching that. They got all the answers.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to properly ask questions. If you're interacting with some of these folks with just basketball, but you can pay somebody a compliment, they don't even know how to accept a compliment.
Yeah.
So you got to teach them that. Hey, man, your line is thank you. Right? Because you got to run into people that will give you this work.
Hey, man, your line is thank you.
Right. Like you that's how you've got to do it. And so that's part of how I win my day. I'm out here and I'm like, yo, like, how many people can I make smile?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not the title. If you're a leader, you just go be a leader. If you want to coach basketball, go coach basketball. They got frost off, JV, varsity. They got YMCA. Go coach.
Yeah.
And don't skip any levels. Don't skip any steps.
Yeah.
Right? The game will reward you because the game is already the reward.
Mm.
You can't look at this thing and, like, let's say I came in there and I'm like, I only want to talk to Mike Brown. All right, I'm gonna miss out on all the Tay Carters, right? Who, like, I talk to Tay a lot.
Yeah.
Tay is an assistant coach with the Orlando Magic now. He wasn't that when I met him.
Yeah.
So you're meeting people who are going places.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to see it just how we deal with player development. You've got to look at somebody else and see the greatness in them. What's his aspirations? What's his goals and ambitions? Does he have the work ethic to get it? If that's the case, that sounds like somebody that needs to be part of your board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a personal board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going to attack the mental aspect, you've got to have people that will tell you the truth. You don't need yes men around you. You need people that'll say, hey, T, you were completely wrong in how you were addressing the team. And you got to be okay with hearing that. That's how this thing has to work. I think people have skipped steps and they take their position into, or they take their title of head coach, GM. That doesn't make you a good husband. That doesn't make you a good son.
Wow.
Right? At the end of the day, your dad is a good dad because you get to say if he's a good dad. We don't get to say we're good dads.
Yeah.
Our kids get to determine if we're good dads or good parents. Our players get to tell you I'm a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you I'm a good coach, but it ain't as strong or valuable as my players telling you I'm a good coach.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people who are entitled and arrogant and disrespectful. And for me, I check those things. I check them. I don't care if you're Mitch Kupchak. You get checked, right? And hey man,
Respectfully.
I famously, yes, because you've got to earn that, and you earn it. First of all, let me rephrase this. I'm gonna be more of my South Central self. Disrespect is earned. Respect is a given to everybody. And so where I'm from, you've had grandmothers have to bury young black men because these guys are running around shooting at each other and harming each other. And so I look at how precious life is because I've had friends that have been gunned down. And I go, how can I be as respectful to everybody? How can I make the red guys and the blue guys, the Bloods, the Crips, how can I make them feel like we're family? Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing I usually do is I go, man, how's your mom doing? And as tough as they are, oh, she's doing all right. She's doing all right. They start smiling. All right, brother. And that's a good looking smile on you, brother. Stay strong. And the next time they see me, it's like I have equity in that relationship.
Yeah.
And so I think if you take that into sports, if you take that in a C-suite, if you take that outside to how you see your mailman, thank you for delivering the mail. Like, if you see a police officer, and I'm not advocating for anything besides kindness, you see police officers recognize that the job is difficult, and we're interacting while they're at work, right? And so we've got to be able to see the human in our eyes. So maybe a hello will suffice, right? Yeah. Just a head nod, like a fist bump if you could. And I'm not saying that we got to go out of our way to do these things, but I'm saying it doesn't hurt to be kind to everybody, and maybe we start to flip over some of this entitlement with people.
Man, that's beautiful for one, and that's how we met. Is I haven't talked to anybody from that staff
Yeah,
except for you since then,
yeah,
and we've talked many times since. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And so that's just. I mean, I know I can attest to the fact that that's just the person you are. Is like you, what the relationship engineer. You know,
Yeah,
like
man,
it.
it's yeah.
That's what I know you as, man. I've got two. I know you got to go. I got two things though that I wanted to touch on.
Okay.
One is what is the impact that Meta World Peace has had on your life and the lives of the team, the girls, all of that. What
Man,
impact has he had?
man, it's exponential. That brother, that's a bad man, right? He is a servant leader, and we gravitate towards each other. So from whether he was in Sacramento with the Kings, quarterbacking the offense and the defense, to coaching at Palisades Charter High School with me. We made USA Today coaching together and winning championships. Uh, him allowing me to see him and Kobe work out and being able to be a fly on that wall and listen to how confrontational those conversations were, and I was able to ask questions. That brother has been a wealth of knowledge, and a beacon of hope. And watching him, watching him grow, we all are aware of, you know, the 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 melee or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
Um, his transformation as a person has been one of the most beautiful things I've seen. I've seen this guy take his shirt off literally and just give it to somebody that needed it. He takes every picture. He even with him being famous, he'll go on a hike. We go on hikes, go to the mall, go to the park, just grabbing kids and working out kids in the hood, and he has no fear. And so that servant leadership piece, man, where it's like he's a people's champ. And so I gravitate towards him because he's such a good human being. And you can't have enough great people around you. Like he just gets assists, right? Maybe not an assist guy on the court, but he's an assist guy in life.
Mm-hmm.
He's helping everybody. Like sometimes I'm scared because he's helping everybody.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, Compton, watch. It don't matter to me, baby. This Queensbridge. I'm like, yeah, well, it's getting dark. You know? And and the way my fear works, it's time to leave. That brother like one more drill. I'm like, yo, that's for practice. I want to go home. So I can speak to that fearlessness. Um, and you know, he's a Hall of Fame friend. If I could summarize it, man, he's a Hall of Fame friend, and I can't speak higher of the character that he has on display all the time. I've never been name dropped on ESPN or all these other telecasts as much from anybody besides him.
Mm.
And I can see it coming. Yeah, I'm learning. He was going for the Knicks job. Yeah, well, I've been coaching under head coach Torino Johnson. I was like, oh my God, my friend's about to send me this clip. Everybody's about to send me
That's
this clip.
incredible, man. That's incredible. That's incredible. And
Yeah.
obviously, everybody knows him as who he was, man. But you haven't. I guess not. I guess not. But the person that he's become now, I think that is incredible, and it's a good sign for our youth today to just see what he has been able to do and where he's been able to come from, man. That's
He's
been
so tangible. He's tangible.
yeah, yeah. Shout out Meta World Peace, man.
Shout out Meta.
Shout out Meta. Torino, man. I can sit here and talk to you all day.
Hey man, that's what we do.
I can sit here and talk to you all day, man. These nuggets that you shared and just bringing me back to the time that we met at the Olympics and in training camp, and what that meant to you, what that meant for our country. Um,
Yes.
those times I could never forget, man. And the stuff that you shared on this show today, I can't wait
Yeah.
to see what it comes out to be, bro. It's gonna be amazing.
No, man, I thank you. I appreciate you for having me. I don't do a lot of podcasts. I usually turn them down because of the host.
Hey, man, shout out.
Yes, sir.
Shout out. Nah, man. Well, man, I appreciate you for coming on here, bro, and sharing everything you shared with us, your professionalism, just your ability to communicate and talk and make people feel welcome. It's next to none, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, thank you so much. You keep being great, good brother.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, till next time, man, and appreciate you for coming on here.